47 people are killed in a bus fire after a man sets himself alight.
And I'm Joanna Gajarowska. I'll have all the sports, including can Serena Williams pick up a 16th Grand Slam title? We'll have the very latest from her French Open final against Maria Sharapova.
Nelson Mandela is breathing without assistance. That's according to a spokesman for the South African president. Mandela was admitted to hospital in Pretoria on Saturday. Doctors had said the former president was in a serious but stable condition. The 94-year-old has suffered several lung infections. It's the third time he's needed hospital treatment since December. Tania has this report.
These are the latest pictures of Nelson Mandela. President Jacob Zuma and the African National Congress's top leaders were there too. Mandela's appearance and behaviour consistent with a man of his age. They were taken at his Johannesburg home. For several days now, he's been sick with a recurring lung infection. Doctors were able to manage his condition for a while, but at 1:30 on Saturday morning, his health deteriorated and he was taken to hospital 45 minutes away in Pretoria. Doctors say his condition is serious but stable.
We need to hold our thoughts and we need to keep him in our minds. He's a fighter. He has recovered many times from very serious conditions. And he'll be with us. Let us just keep him in our thoughts. Let's pray for him, help him to get better.
Although the President's office won't confirm it, this is the hospital where many believe he is staying. Some close family members are said to be with the 94-year-old. People here are hoping for the best.
He's a world icon, he's an African icon, you know. He's respected by everyone, so yeah, everyone I'm sure would want to wish him a speedy recovery.
Very important, because through him we got liberated, and through him we are able to actually come to varsities like this and be somebody's, you know.
My message to him would be, man, get well soon, like speedy recovery, man, Godspeed.
But this is the third time the ailing former president has been admitted to hospital this year. Mandela has a history of lung problems dating back to when he contracted tuberculosis while in prison. He's revered the world over as an icon of freedom, a man who encapsulates the very best of South Africa and Africans. And with each hospital visit, the nation braces for the inevitable, while hoping it won't be today. Tania Page, Al Jazeera, Johannesburg.
Well, let's go live to Tania now. Tania, there seems to be a little bit of good news on his condition. Just give us an update.
Well, certainly, just in the last couple of hours, we've learned from the spokesperson for the President's office that he is breathing unassisted and that also he is able to communicate with the people around him. So pretty positive signs that will buoy many South Africans who really woke up to the news that their beloved former president has been hospitalised yet again. This is something that people really are starting to get used to, though, it has to be said. As far as further information on his health, it's something that the spokespeople for the President's office say, look, they will let us know if there is any dramatic change in his condition. And this is really in line with how they have handled other hospital stays by the former President Mandela, because, of course, they're so conscious of the incredibly high level of interest in his health, and they really want to control the information, where it comes from and how much is given out, trying to strike that balance between giving some information, because so many people want to know, but also trying to respect his privacy and his family's privacy as well.
Yeah, and as you say, Tania, I mean, so many people have been trying to prepare themselves for the inevitable. It is, with all these health scares, even so, something that is very difficult for a lot of people to come to terms with.
Oh, absolutely, and we went down to a shopping centre not far from where I'm talking to you now, and we talked to a couple of young students around. That's where the University of Johannesburg is, and although, as I said, some people woke up to this news, we broke the news to some of these people on the street, and I have to say that no one was particularly surprised. One young man did say that, you know, he's our inspiration, he's the overriding inspirational figure of my childhood, and what will I do, what will we do when he is gone? Another young woman said, look, we owe him the fact that we are able to attend university. And, you know, my mother, my grandmother, they never had the option because under apartheid there was a separate education system called the Bantu education system for black Africans. But now, you know, we have the chance to build a future, to build a country of our dreams. So people really trying to focus on the positive, his memory and his legacy going forward, but also, you know, bearing in mind, of course, that his age and that his health has been increasingly failing him.
Tania, thanks very much indeed for that. Tania Page updating us with all the latest details from Johannesburg there. Now, 4 foreign soldiers have been killed in 2 separate attacks in Afghanistan. 3 US soldiers were killed in PAKTIKA in eastern Afghanistan, while another soldier died in the western FARAH province. Well, Jennifer GLASSE joins us now live from Kabul. And Jennifer, the 3 US soldiers thought to have been killed by a man dressed in an Afghan uniform, an Afghan soldier's uniform. I mean, how frequent and how damaging are those so-called insider attacks?
Well, this, Shuli, is the 6th insider attack so far this year, with the 3 American soldiers killed today. 9 ISAF soldiers have been killed so far this year. That's a little over 10% of the total ISAF soldiers killed this year. That's down from the attacks last year, where 62 coalition soldiers were killed by these so-called insider attacks. This latest attack, we have a little bit more information from the governor in PAKTIKA. He says that just after noon, an Afghan army soldier got into an argument with the American soldiers, and he opened fire on them, killing 3. The Afghan army soldier himself was killed. And there was another NATO death today in western Afghanistan, in FARAH province. There, the police spokesman telling us that Italian troops were on their way back to their base when a teenager, they say someone under the age of 18, threw a hand grenade into one of the vehicles, killing 1 Italian soldier. So 4 NATO deaths here in Afghanistan today. 3 of them, 3 Americans killed in a so-called insider attack by an Afghan army soldier.
OK, Jennifer, thanks very much indeed for that. Jennifer GLASSE in Kabul there. At least 5 people have died in a series of attacks in Iraq. A car bomb killed 4 people and injured 18 others near a medical centre in eastern Baghdad. And a soldier was killed when another bomb exploded at a checkpoint near Mosul. The International Committee of the Red Cross has reached a deal with the Syrian government to take injured civilians out of Qusair. At least 10 people have been moved to a hospital in Lebanon's Bekaa Valley. 800 of the injured will be pulled out in total. Well, Al Jazeera's Mohammed Val is in the border town of Asl in Lebanon with the latest on that. And Mohammed, we're hearing that injured civilians are being pulled out of Qusair. What are you seeing there?
Yes, surely that operation has started.
Apologies for that. We've just actually, I can see Mohammed back again. No, he's gone. I'm so sorry. We've lost Mohammed. We'll try and get back to him a little later on. Now, leaders from Turkey's ruling party are meeting in Istanbul as anti-government protests enter their 9th day. Demonstrations are also continuing in other parts of the country. The European Union has called on leaders to investigate claims that police used excessive force against protesters. Well, Turkey is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world, but the political crisis there is threatening to damage the thriving trade. Experts are concerned the country's economy might suffer long-term damage if the violence continues. Hashim Al-Habra reports from Istanbul.
A cheerful melody at difficult times. This is Sultan Ahmed, or ancient Istanbul, known for its historic buildings like the Blue Mosque. Summer is usually the time when the whole city is packed with visitors, but it's not the case this year. These tourists couldn't find a taxi because of the roadblocks and barricades. Others curious about the protests in Taksim Square.
This is one of the most popular tourist attractions in Istanbul, but Taksim Square is occupied by protesters threatening to stay for as long as it takes until their demands are met. The whole area houses hotels, restaurants and shopping malls, and there are concerns that tourism might decline if the unrest continues.
Hotels in Istanbul are starting to feel the brunt of the crisis.
There's a drop in the number of tourists. Short-term reservation cancellations are at around 15% as we speak. If things continue the way they are, they expect much